Hello. I'm sorry we weren't able to do this in person, but hopefully I'll be able to answer all the questions that you have, and if not, we will definitely make sure that we get those answered for you in a timely fashion. For all of our courses, and we offer three different programs. We offer a day class, an evening class, and a weekend class. For all of those, we have a 200-hour program. The industry minimum, what they're looking for, is at least 160 hours. Our day class is Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. That runs for 5 weeks. Evening class is Monday through Friday from 5 until 10 p.m. And that runs for 8 weeks. And then our weekend class is Saturdays and Sundays, and that runs for 12 weekends from 8 to 5 on Saturdays and Sundays. Before class starts, we ask you to get a DOT physical, drug screen, 10-year driver's history, and your test authorization. Now, the test authorization, what you're doing there is you're signing up for and you are paying for the test that you want to take, but you don't actually have to take the test. We're going to go through everything in class that you need in order to pass all of your tests. We do everything for your Class A, let you drive Class A or B vehicles, tractor trailers or straight trucks like cement mixers, dump trucks, big moving vans, things like that. Air brake restriction removed, so you can drive air brakes or hydraulic brakes. Hazardous materials, doubles and triples, and tankers endorsements. So when you finish up here, you are licensed to drive really pretty much anything on the road that doesn't involve passengers. So no buses, school buses, motor coaches, that kind of thing. Other than that, you're licensed to drive out on the road. First day of class, you come in. First day of class for the day class, for the weekend class, usually it's about the second evening in the evening class, but we get you out into the trucks early on. There's some schools you go through 2 weeks, 3 weeks of class before you actually get out into the truck. And I don't want you to go through 2 weeks of class, 3 weeks of class, finally get into the truck that first time, look around and go, this is not what I want to do. We want to get you out into that truck early on, make sure it is that what you want to do and that you're comfortable doing it. So we start you off in our yard trucks with straight line backing. Just can you back up in a straight line with a tractor and a trailer for 100 feet? Our yard trucks are single axle day cabs, meaning single axle, nice short wheelbase, makes them really easy to maneuver. Day cab, no sleeper on the back, great visibility. The really nice thing about our yard trucks is that they're automatic. So when you are starting out and that tractor and the trailer is just running away with you and the trailer is all over the place and you're worried about how fast you're going and you're wearing out your leg and you're wearing out the clutch and everything else there, instead of all of that, all you need to do, put it in reverse. You can ride the brakes back as slow as you need to. Really make sure that you stay in control and can pay attention and worry about where the trailer is going rather than how fast it's running away with you. We go through that first week, as I said, going through the commercial driver's manual. Friday afternoon, we let you go out and take your permit exams. And once you pass those, that's when you get your permit that lets you start driving out on the road. So beginning that second week of class, that's when we start working with our road trucks. And that's the red Kenworth T600s that we have. We have 3 of those. They are all manual transmission. There is one that's a 10-speed, 2 that are 13 speeds. Between those combinations, you'll be able to drive a 9-speed, you'll be able to drive a 10-speed, you'll be able to drive a 13-speed, you'll be able to drive an 18-speed, which are the 4 most popular on the road today. We start off in the yard learning how to put the truck into gear. It's a little bit different in a tractor trailer than it is in a car or a pickup truck. Just putting it into gear is different. We learn how to use the clutch properly. The clutch has a great big long throw of about 12 inches. When you push down the clutch, you're actually only using about 2 inch of that clutch throw when you're making your shifts. And it's a big change for people that are used to shifting in a car or a pickup truck. So we get used to doing that. We learn how to upshift, we learn how to downshift, learn how to use the range selector. All of that in the yard till we get comfortable. Once we're comfortable with that, then we're going to take you out on the road. We're going to start off on a little bit of an incline, get used to starting without drifting back into the traffic behind you. We're going to get you up into the lane, centered up in the lane, watching your speed, watching your following distance, watching for traffic around you, checking your mirrors, back out of traffic again, left turns, right turns, lots of hills, lots of curves, lots of turns, lots of shifting. Lots of shifting. Shifting is the foundation of everything that we do here. In fact, a lot of people ask what the DCS in DCS School of Driving stands for. And when I started out putting the school together, I focused on what is the foundation of everything to driving a truck to me. What is it that everything else is built upon? And to me, it's shifting. That it doesn't matter what else you can do and what else you can do well in a truck. If you can't shift, nothing else really matters. I mean, you could be the greatest backer in the world. I mean, you could be somebody that feels like you could put a truck in any space, anytime, anywhere, any conditions, and that's great. It's a great skill to have. But at the same time, if you can't be in the right gear to go around the corner that puts you into that parking lot, or more importantly, you can't be in the right gear to come down the mountain, it really doesn't matter what else you can do. So we spend so much time working on shifting. As a result, we do very little highway driving. There are schools out there that will tell you that they go out and they cruise on the highway because, well, that's what truck drivers do. And it's true. Most of the time, truck drivers are on the highway. In fact, probably 95% of your driving is going to be done on the highway. But that doesn't mean that's the difficult part of driving. Same goes true with company schools, especially company schools that train you by actually putting you onto the job. The problem with that is that freight has to get to where it needs to go, and it needs to get there as quickly as possible. And the fastest way to get freight from point A to point B is to do it on the highway. So as a result, you have all of your instruction taking place on a highway. They don't have time to go and drive those little back roads and go through cities and things like that just to teach you how to drive, because the idea primary is to get the freight from point A to point B. And for me, the idea of driving on a highway and saying that you know how to drive a truck is a little bit like sitting in a pilot seat of a 747 at 38,000 feet and saying, hey, now I know how to fly an airplane. Well, no, you don't. You know how not to crash the airplane while you're up there at 38,000 feet. Because there's more to driving a truck than just driving on the highway. Yeah, most of your driving is going to be on the highway, but at the same time, the difficult parts aren't on the highway. When you make your pickups, when you make your deliveries, and you're going down tight, narrow, twisty, windy back roads, or you're going through cities where you've got, again, narrow streets, and you've got parked cars, and you've got mirrors sticking out, and doors opening up, and pedestrians walking out, and you've got tight corners. That's the tough part of driving. And that's the tough part of driving that a lot of schools, especially ones that put you out on the job working, don't teach you. We've gotten a reputation kind of with some of the other schools that they're using the scare tactic that, well, DCS is the really hard school, and you don't want to go to because they're a tough school. I look at that as a compliment. We are the tough school. We put you into those positions that you're going to be in because you're going to get into those twisty, narrow, windy roads in cities, whether you do that when you're with an instructor or whether you're out on your own. When you're with an instructor, you have somebody that can help keep you from getting into a mess, and if you do get into a mess, can get you out of it. The alternative is being out there on your own, trying to figure out how to do it when you've never done it. We do lots of little, like I said, twisty, windy back roads. East Berlin Road, 234. We drive that a lot. It's a great road. It's a terrible road, but it's a great road for what we're doing. We drive also 74. We go from Carlisle down to York. We go from York down through Dallastown, down through Red Lion, down to Collinsville. We do cities. We start off small. We drive through Spring Grove. We drive through Hanover. We drive through York City. We drive through Lancaster City. We drive through Carlisle. We drive through Harrisburg. One of the really neat things that we like to do is a distance drive. And that's where, instead of going up and telling you, okay, go up here, make a left turn, okay, go up here, make a right turn, we give you the directions for the day. But the idea of giving you those directions is that you actually have to navigate and read your route signs and find out where your turns are coming up and what lane you need to be in, and setting yourself up and actually driving the truck as opposed to just piloting it, being able to turn left and turn right and all these things. It's all those things that go into planning and setting up for and actually driving the truck. There's kind of three levels, I look at it, to being able to be a truck driver. The first one is getting your license, and there are schools that will get you your license in 3 weeks, and it's really not difficult to do. I could get people their license in probably 3 or 4 days. All you have to do is go out, drive the test course over and over and over and over and over again, and I can teach you exactly what you have to do to drive that test course. And then in the yard, teach you how to do your 2 maneuvers that you need to do. Do a straight line back, do a parallel park, straight line back, parallel park. And that's what we work on for 3 days. Drive the test course, straight line back, parallel park. Well, on test day, you come and you drive the test course, you do your straight line back and your parallel park, and you have your license. Doesn't mean you can drive a truck. No, it means you have your license. And as scary as it sounds, there are schools that's their philosophy. Hey, we're just going to get you your license. The next step is being able to drive a truck. And that is where you can get in pretty much any truck on the road and be able to safely get yourself from point A to point B and back again. Be able to navigate, be able to read your route signs, follow your directions, get there and get back. That's what we're looking for. And that's the key. Right there is being able to safely drive a truck. Now, the next step is being a truck driver, and we can't make you a truck driver in 5 weeks. The only way that you're going to be a truck driver is once you get out there with a trainer, day in, day out, actually making your pickups, making your deliveries, going through DOT inspections and weigh stations and getting on the scales and going to truck stops, getting fuel, getting showers, things like that. That's what it takes to be a truck driver. But before you can be a truck driver, you have to be able to drive a truck. So that's what we do. That's the goal when you come out of here, is that we have people that can drive a truck. And so that's why we put you in those situations and give you that really hard course to go through as you get there. Meanwhile, while we're doing all that stuff out on the road, in the yard, we start off with our straight line backing. We do parallel parking from both sides of the parking space. We do jackknife parking, where we back in. We park it at a 90-degree angle with the back bumper of the trailer inside of an 18-inch deep box. We do that from both sides. We do serpentine, forward through a set of cones, backward through a set of cones. We do coupling and uncoupling the tractor and the trailer, and we do the pre-trip inspection. We do the outside of the truck, trailer. We do the inside of the cab, all of your gauges, your controls, and we do the air brake test on the tractors and the trailers. We do all those things. We started off with our yard trucks to begin with. About 2/3 of the way through the class, we test on all the skills that you've done up until that point. Get graded on all the skills that you've done up until that point. And then we start doing everything with the big truck. So we're doing the same straight line backing, parallel parking, jackknife parking, using the full-size road truck. So you're taking a 75-foot tractor trailer and you are parallel parking it into a 100-foot parking space. And I figure if you can do that, you've got a pretty good handle on how to make that trailer go where it is that you want it to go. At the end of everything, we have state testers that come here to our site. They test in our trucks, in our yard. They do pre-trip inspection with you, do some backing maneuvers, take you out on the road for about an hour. If everything goes well, they sign off on your license right then and there. Which then brings us to jobs, as everybody's next question. We do what I call job placement assistance. And there's a couple reasons I call it job placement assistance. Basically, it differentiates us from schools that say they do job placement. There are schools that when you finish with class will go, congratulations, you graduated, here's your job. You don't really get a say in it. This is your job placement. We have placed you in a job. I've got a problem with that on so many levels. For one thing, no two people are going to want the same kind of job. You're the only one that knows what it is that you're looking for. I can't give you a job and tell you what it is that you're looking for. The other thing is that many schools get kickbacks from companies for every student that they send them. For every student that we send to a particular company, they will pay the school $1,000, $1,500. I can tell you, if I'm getting $1,000 or $1,500 for every student I'm sending to a company, that's going to be the greatest company and the one that you ought to go work for. Whether or not it is, really isn't relevant. The idea is that, hey, if they're going to pay me money, I'm going to send everybody I can to that company, whether or not it's a good fit or not. That takes away my objectivity as a director, as an instructor. And instead of looking out for what's best for you, we're looking out what's best for me, which isn't why we're here. I want you to figure out where it is that you want to go rather than what's beneficial for me. First day of class, I give you a list of companies that hire recent graduates. There are about 95 companies on that list. Some of those are big national companies, some are regional companies, some are local companies. And you're not required to go with anything that's on that list. It's simply an idea of what's available when you get started. So many people look at the newspaper, they look at the internet, and they say, well, I need 6 months of experience, a year of experience, 2 years of experience. How do I get experience if I can't get a job to get experience, to get a job, to get experience? This is the way to do it. We talked earlier about those 3 steps, going from having a license, being able to drive a truck, and being a truck driver. The difference between companies that hire graduates and companies that don't hire graduates is where they are looking for people on that scale. Somebody that wants drivers that have experience, they're looking for somebody that they can come in, they can hand them the keys, say, here's this load, go deliver it to California in 4 days and send you out the door. They're looking for truck drivers. That's not what we are at this point. You come out of here, you're not yet a truck driver. You're going to be able to drive a truck, but you're not a truck driver. You're not ready to have somebody hand you keys and say, here, go deliver this load. Companies that are willing to take graduates understand that, okay, we're getting people that hopefully can drive a truck. At the very least, they have their license. But they understand that they're going to have to put a little bit of effort, involvement, time into a driver before they're ready to go out on their own. And that's the only difference. It doesn't make a company better, doesn't make a company worse. It just means that they understand that you're not ready to be handed a set of keys and let you go out and make deliveries. They're going to have to send a trainer out with you and teach you what it takes to be a truck driver. So again, back to that list there. You're not required to go with that. We have recruiters that come in and talk to the students. Swift comes in, Schneider comes in, McElroy comes in, A&S Kynard comes in, Trans Am, Crete, Schaefer, a lot of different companies, not all of them for every class, but usually it's 2 or 3 recruiters that come in for every class, sometimes a little bit more. Again, you're not required to go with any of those recruiters. It's simply an idea of seeing what they have to offer, see how it compares to something else that you're looking at, give you a chance to ask questions, just help you figure out what's the best fit for you. Whatever it is, though, however you find where you want to work. It may be something that you found through us. That's great. Maybe something that you found on your own. Maybe you have a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend that knows somebody that needs a driver, or you saw something in the internet, newspaper, whatever. You figure out what's the best fit for you. At that point, whatever I can do to help you out, anything from getting applications for you, faxing in applications, if you need a computer to fill out applications, talking to recruiters. For example, I had a guy early on that came in. He knew where he wanted to go to work before he even started school. Put the cart before the horse a little bit, but that's okay. He knew where he wanted to go. Well, at the time, we had just opened up and we weren't on that particular company's list of schools. I talked to the head of the recruiting department. I explained, I said, I've got this guy, really wants to come work for you. Obviously, we're not on your list right now. Is there anything that we can do to help him out? And they said, well, send me all the information on your school. Let me know how long the course is, how many hours you spend in the yard, how many hours you spend on the road, how many students you have in class, what type of equipment do you drive, course objectives. Send everything over to me. We'll take a look. We'll see what we can do for him. And long story, that's where the guy ended up going to work. It's very much in my best interest to make sure that everybody that wants a job gets a job. We're a private license school. And that makes us different from community colleges, from VOTECs. in that every 2 years we have to renew our license with the Pennsylvania Department of Education. And they look at not only how many people start the class and how many people graduate, they also want to know how many people get jobs afterwards. And that's where, on that sheet that you got there, the yes and no questions, I want to make sure that everybody that comes through here, we can get a job for them. If I have somebody that I don't think I can get a job for them, I don't bring them into class. It's probably the single biggest thing that sets us apart from any other school. I've had people that came in, they were like, I'm ready to start. Here's my money. Let's go. Start school tomorrow. And I've told them no. It doesn't make sense if I have somebody that I can't get a job for them to bring them through class. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help you. Sure, short term, it's money in my pocket. Absolutely. And unfortunately, that's the way that so many schools look at it, that if they've got somebody that has money, especially if they're CareerLink, they are willing to take them right away. Absolutely no questions asked. In fact, if you've got a school that you talk to and they didn't ask about your background on there, for me, that's a reason to be worried, because they don't care what kind of quality students they're getting in their classes. They're taking anybody that has the money to come through. We want to make sure there. I've had recruiters that tell me about other schools, and they're like, we don't hire from certain other schools. Their guys can drive okay, that's not the problem, but so many of the people that come through their schools have multiple DUIs, have multiple felonies, have multiple drug convictions. We can't hire them. It's not worth our effort to go through, spend the time to comb through all of the applications, to pay somebody to do the background checks, to have them keep coming back and nope, can't hire them, can't hire them, can't hire them. I want exactly the opposite. I want somebody to look at your application, go, oh, they went to DCS School of Driving. Put them on the top. Call them today, because if we don't call them today, somebody else is going to call them, and we're going to lose them. And that's the way that we work. Our philosophy is I want to take somebody who is a great potential student, somebody that has lots of no's on their paper. I want to give them that really hard training. Put them in those difficult situations where they come out and they can drive a truck, not just pass their license, not just barely get by, over and above, be able to drive a truck really well. And then I want you to go out, pardon my terminology, but I want you to impress the hell out of your trainer when you get out there. I want that trainer to finish up giving that road test, look over at you and go, you're telling me you just graduated from school? Yeah. Never drove a truck before that? Nope. Where'd you go to school? I went to DCS School of Driving. Trainer goes back, talks to the recruiting department, talks to the safety department, talks to the HR, whatever. Hey, get some more of these guys. They know how to drive a truck. They know how to take care of equipment. They understand fuel economy. They can read maps. They can do trip planning. They can do logbooks. Get some more of these guys. These are the kinds of guys I want to train in my truck. And we get the recruiters down here going, hey, can I come down and talk to your guys and hire some more of them? And we just get that upward spiral. Instead of the downward spiral, we get the upward spiral, where it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. One of my pat myself on the back stories, it's actually pat the driver on the back, but it was a guy that graduated from class early on, and he went to a company that if he had asked me beforehand, I would have told him, don't waste your time. There is just absolutely no way that you are going to get into that company right out of school. But he did. He put his application in. They took him out for a road test. They told him, normally we don't hire graduates, but we are short on drivers right now. So, all right. Finished up the road test, and it was one of those ones where the trainer looked at him and go, you're telling me you just graduated from school? Yep. Blew him away. Absolutely floored them. He said, well, all right, we'll put you on probation for a little bit, see how things work out. They loved him. Because of that one guy, they changed their hiring policy. They're now 5 years of experience or a DCS School of Driving graduate. We are the only school that they hire from, and I love that. I love that when we get people into places that don't hire graduates, because they realize our guys don't drive like typical driving school graduates. We're not truck drivers. We've got a little bit of ways to go there, but at the same time, we don't drive like typical graduates. And that pretty much is kind of what we're looking at here. Hopefully, I've answered all of your questions. If not, as I said, we definitely want to get those answered for you. Did give you some papers here. There are, the first one is this one, which is the student information. You read through that. On the back here is a checklist. And once you have put in your deposit, marked your space in the class, we reserve your space in the class, you can start going down through this checklist. First one on there, don't get any traffic tickets. DOT physical and a drug screen. This can be done Concentra, Work First, or other industrial medical facilities. Concentra is here on the east end. They're right across from Staples on Route 30 next to Mission Barbecue. Nice thing about Concentra is they don't require an appointment. They are a little bit more expensive, but you don't need an appointment. Out on the other end is Work First. You do need an appointment there, but you save a little bit of money. Just depends on whatever works best for you. Make sure that whatever you're going to, though, is an industrial medical facility, not an urgent care. I had somebody that went to an urgent care by mistake, and instead of the $135 to $145 that it should have cost, it was like $280. So make sure you're going to a industrial medical facility there. Cost should be somewhere around $135, $145. The physical results they give to you right away. The drug screen, they send those away once the results come back. Ask them to either mail them to me at the address here, they can fax them to me at this phone number, or they can email them to me, whatever works best for them. Complete the learner's permit application and the self-certification form. The commercial learner's permit, you fill out the top part here. Along here, everything is checked that you need. Your Class A, air brake restriction removed, hazmat, doubles, triples, tankers. Down here is a section that it asks how long it is until your current regular driver's license expires. Figure out how long that is, take that amount, put it in the box, total all that up. That's what the check gets made out to for PennDOT. It has to be a check or a money order. They don't take cash or credit cards over at the driver's license center. Your self-certification form, what they're doing with this is Pennsylvania records on your driving record that you have your DOT physical. So once you get your physical, they give you a little wallet card. Take that wallet card along with this form filled out over to the driver's license center, and they'll record on your driving record that you do have your physical. Back to this sheet, we're going to take our learner's permit application, self-certification form, the DOT physical card, birth certificate with a raised seal or a passport, that's for your hazardous materials background check there, to the driver's license center along with a check made out to PennDOT. You don't have to take any tests. Some people decide to on their own, and that's fine. If you want to read ahead, take your permit test. Takes a little bit pressure off first couple days of class, but it's completely up to you. We're going to do everything that you need to know to take those tests. The cost be somewhere between $53 and $85, depends on when your current license expires. Then you go on to http://www.dmv.state.pa.us, click More Online Driver and Vehicle Services, select Request Your Driver's History, sign in using your driver number, purchase your driver's history, select 10-year history, $8. That'll print right off from the computer as well as the receipt. Ask for, keep all of your receipts. I don't know if anybody will reimburse for receipts, but it's never a bad idea to have them. It's especially important when you go in to get your learner's permit application, or when you take your permit application in to get your test authorization, ask for a receipt. The driver's license center doesn't give you a receipt unless you specifically ask for one, so make sure you do that. You're going to pay the balance due 1 week before the first day of class, and then you're going to bring me in a copy of your test authorization, your physical, and your driver's history before the first day of class. Sooner the better, but as long as we have it before the first day of class, we're good to go. On the first day, pen, highlighter. We do a lot of highlighting first week of class. Long pants, closed-toed shoes. Boots are great for out in the yard. A lot of people like wearing boots, not a problem. I really recommend that if you're a boot wearer, bring along some sneakers. Something light is going to be much easier when you're learning how to use the clutch, if you're not stomping down on that clutch pedal. Nice light shoes on there. Gloves, cold weather gloves, as well as work gloves. We're doing pre-trip inspections, hot, dirty, greasy parts. Protect your hands, as well as keeping the inside of the trucks clean. Rain gear, snow gear, cold weather gear, whatever it is, we are outside regardless of the weather. Dress appropriately or be miserable. Last one on there, don't get any traffic tickets. Alpha and the Omega. So, again, hopefully that answered all of your questions. If not, we will be sure to do whatever we can to answer those questions, and hopefully we'll see you in class here in a little bit. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.